Hey guys, what's up? It's Culture Detective here right now in the USA. This is a new background and okay. This is not my room and this is temporary, okay? Yeah, today I'm going to be doing the worst movies of 2021 and I'm going to try to keep it down because obviously this is not my place and there's somebody else in this place right now, so I'm going to keep it down. But worst movies of 2021, let's go. So, there are a few honorable, or more like dishonorable. Also, this is amazing. This is a great setup because if you can't tell, I actually have my laptop right in front of me, so I can, hopefully in the future it's also like this, where whenever I want to do a review and I need a list of bullet points, I can just look at my laptop like right here. But anyways, before that, we have a couple of dishonorable mentions. I haven't seen that many bad movies in 2021, so here are a couple of dishonorable mentions that I think should be mentioned. First of all, we have Cruella, which is Disney's live action of a movie, which is also a spin-off, and it is about the villain Cruella de Vil. It is a cringe fest. It is Disney desperately milking for money. And then speaking of milking for money, we have F9, aka Fast and Furious 9. I'm so worried, like my mom is gonna walk through that door anytime now and seeing me talk to myself thinking that I'm a schizo. Also, there's a movie Dash Cam, which will probably end up in next year's list because it's actually not released yet, I believe. Alright, anyways, number 10, let's get it quick, let's get it real. It is Venom with Let There Be Carnage. Yes, it is the second installment to the Venom franchise. In my opinion, this is worse than the first one. I think this is very goofy. The villains in this movie, which is supposedly some awesome badass villains, but in this movie they're just so goofy. They're just so bad. Also, a bulk of the movie is basically banter between Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock and Venom itself, and a little banter is fine, but the whole movie is mostly banter, and it's just a lot of filler, not really all that entertaining, kind of dumb. Alright, at number 9, I'm giving it to Thunder Force. And Thunder Force is a really, really dumb attempt at trying to do this female empowerment superhero thing. Female empowering superheroes is not a bad idea at all. In fact, there are some really good ones out there right now, but this is dumb as hell. I feel like Thunder Force is just one of those ideas that's just better left at the meeting room floor, because this idea doesn't even seem like nearly a good movie idea. It's so half-baked. It is absolutely cringy, and it's unbearable, really. Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer, both of these actors are good comedian actors, but they just fail spectacularly in this movie. Alright, at number 8, I'm giving it to the movie that's supposed to come out like in 2018 or something, and that is Chaos Walking. This movie is supposed to come out a long time ago, and the first script is like it somehow involves Charlie Kaufman. Obviously, Charlie Kaufman is, in my opinion, one of the best screenwriters working nowadays. But after tons of rewrites and tons of reshoots, Chaos Walking is finally released in 2021, and it is bad. It makes no sense. It feels like two movies being slapped in one. The performances are pretty bad, and there are just so many plot holes and so many weird conveniences. I just can't take this movie seriously at all. After watching the whole movie, including the ending and the plot twist and all that, you would realize that the whole premise of Chaos Walking is totally unnecessary. It serves nothing to the overall story. It's just there for no reason whatsoever. And again, the writing is just really choppy. It feels like there are a lot of missing scenes because it literally is a few movies slapped into one. It is a mess. It is basically a Frankenstein of a mess, and it's not good. It should have been shelved. Alright, at number 7, it is the very new Red Notice, which is another one of those, three sneaky, charismatic criminals doing a heist for the authorities and something like that. You know, I've probably seen a million movies about this already. And in this movie, Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds, The Rock plays The Rock, and of course he has to end up in a jungle at some point. Gal Gadot plays Gal Gadot, Gal Gadot, I don't know anymore. But it is insufferable. This movie is insufferable. It is also very unoriginal and uninspired. There are a lot of one-liners that are just vomit-inducingly cringy and just not a great script at all. Alright, number 6, I am giving it to The Kissing Booth 3. Why do we need a third one? As if the first one and the second one isn't enough. As if the franchise had to exist to begin with. This is another one of those really dumb, like sunshine and rainbows kind of rom-com that is as shallow as a kid's pool. And I'm fine with shallow rom-coms. Some of them can be really fun, but this one is just kind of goofy, kind of corny, very predictable, same formula. And I mean, just look at the movie poster and you can pretty much figure out the rest. Okay, top 5. Picking the top 5 is quite difficult because we have quite a number of terrible movies this year. But starting off, we have Space Jam: A New Legacy, which is a second part, a sequel to the legendary Space Jam movie that came out nearly 30 years ago. First of all, Space Jam 2 totally does not need to exist. Second of all, Space Jam 2 is in so many ways worse than the first one. The music is much worse, while the music is pretty much the main driving force of the first movie. The animation is terrible. I don't mind them nerfing Lola Bunny, but the animation in general is worse. Like, it seems like the animators are not paid enough for making this movie, and the whole movie is just bad looking. The CGI is super flashy and overwhelming. It looks bad, and the whole movie feels like one really, really long ad, one really long commercial, and nothing else. It is weightless, it is annoying, and it's bad. Alright, number 4, I am giving it to Home Sweet Home Alone. Yes, this is like this is like the 6th one in the series or something. Yeah, this needs to end. The first Home Alone is enjoyable. I must admit it's dumb, but I enjoy it. But now we have another one, and it is totally unnecessary. It does not need to exist. It is unbearable. The dialogues are written by a 9-year-old probably. The child character is unlikable. He might be a psychopath, and the parents don't even act like parents. They don't act real at all, and I don't mind it as long as it's funny and entertaining. But this movie is not entertaining at all. A bulk of it is bland. Like, nothing happens in a bulk of this movie. The pacing is very slow. It's very off, and it is just one really, really awkward attempt at bringing this Home Alone thing back, which nobody really cares about anymore. Okay, top 3. Number 3, it is Music. So Music is a movie written and directed by Australian singer Sia. And yeah, it is bad because this movie is insulting to everyone who is on the autism spectrum as well as everyone who are not neurodivergent, where this is essentially a movie about how a couple of people, a couple of adults, take care of an autistic girl. And first of all, the performances are bad, and I don't really blame Maddie Ziegler for being bad at acting. I mean, yeah, she's pretty bad in this, but mainly I think that's also because the script is bad and the directing is bad, and Sia really, really, really insisting on Maddie Ziegler to play the main character, who is called Music. And then we have, speaking of music, we have all these random like injections of music videos throughout this movie that doesn't serve any purpose whatsoever. It just interrupts the movie, and the songs themselves aren't even all that great. And then there are the restraint scenes, which are really questionable. And then of course we have the script, which makes no sense. The dialogues are very cringe, and the whole thing is just one really insulting mess. And if it weren't for the second place and the first place, I think Music is easily number one worthy. But of course, we have two more movies on this list. At number two, we have a very special one because I'm pretty sure that a lot of you may have never heard of this movie before, but this is a terrible movie. Once again, I'd like to say that my worst lists, my worst movies, worst songs, and worst albums list lack diversity. They do not have enough Asian representation. So I'm happy to announce that we finally have an Asian entry in this worst movies list, and that is China Captain. Yes, this movie is called China Captain, and in Cantonese it is 孤膽行動, even though in the poster it says 中國隊長之中隊崛起, which makes no sense whatsoever. And there are several English titles. There's Captain China, there's Chinese Captain, but in the poster it says China Captain, which grammatically doesn't even make sense. I mean, look at this poster. What is this? Like, this is just awful Photoshop. This is terrible. This looks terrible. Why does this movie even exist? And it's real. It's not some random fun project by some teenager. Like, this is a real production. In fact, this is the highest grossing Chinese film, the most popular Chinese film this year, like during summer or something. It's that bad. And this is basically the Chinese version of the Avengers, because obviously if the West is doing something, China has to follow suit because it doesn't even have any ideas. But instead of actually having superheroes, this movie basically reuses some of the classic characters throughout Chinese literature and fiction, which is stupid as hell. And yeah, I mean, we have everything here from freaking Sun Hong, which is the main character of Journey to the West, a classic literature totally ruined in this movie, all the way to historical figures. They have to bring up the people from the dead just to star in this absolutely vomit-inducing CGI cringe fest where the whole movie just explodes in front of your eyes with fake computer-generated bullshit just swirling in the frame, and it is just it's just terrible. It is just absolutely terrible, and a very, very petty and uninspired and cringy attempt at trying to replicate the West and saying that, oh, we can make movies better than the West. And this is another really dumb point that I think this movie's trying to make, is that if you want to prove that you can make movies better than the West, which I don't think should be the case, because art shouldn't be proven, But if you really want to prove that you can make movies better than, say, the USA, then why even copy them in the first place? Do your own thing. Be original. What are you doing? So, yeah, this is dumb. All right. Number 1, worst movie of 2021. Yeah, you know, I really wanted to put China Captain in number 1, but you know, to put it at number 1, it is to really legitimize it. So I need to really put something else at number 1, and you and I both know what that is. He's All That. Yes, He's All That. Okay, I have to keep it down. This movie reeks. Every single scene in this movie is terrible in its own unique way. There is nothing redeemable about this movie other than Matthew Lillard at the end of the movie, but even that cannot save how awful this movie is. Like where do I even begin? I mean, first of all, Addison Rae is in this movie, and right now I'm still struggling to believe that Addison Rae is a real functioning person. And obviously her acting in this movie is awful. It is terrible, and I think it would be better if Addison Rae is being cast to play a psychopathic character, because at least she would be able to put her emotionless face to some use. But she's actually quite scary in this movie. And then on top of that, this movie in general, overall, is basically like the wet dream of an average Californian rich white teenager who sips Starbucks every day and uses TikTok every single day nonstop. It's cringy. It's not even funny. Like, at least for China Captain, it is so laughably bad. You can watch it for the laughs, but this one is so unfunny and painful. It makes no sense whatsoever, and there are just so many shameless product placements in this movie. The montages are insufferable, and to top it all off, we have a dance number at the end of the movie, with a Macklemore song in the background. Like, ugh. Yeah. So yeah, here we go. He's All That is easily one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life, and I do not want to revisit this movie at all. There's even a scene in the middle of the movie where they play with poop. Wow, this is yeah, this is monumental. This is monumentally awful. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. What are your least favorite movies of 2021? Comments below, let me know, and thanks for watching. Now, originally, I want to do my best movies of the year video tomorrow, but there are a couple of issues. One, tomorrow I have to arrive at Los Angeles and settle down in the Airbnb, so I wouldn't have time at all, plus the countdown, so I don't have time at all. Second, I don't think I've watched enough movies to make the list yet, so I'm going to watch like a couple movies later. And the two movies that I'm gonna watch later will be Titan and Red Rocket. And then tomorrow maybe I'm gonna watch Come On Come On or Spencer or The Power of the Dog. But either way, I probably won't be able to make my best movies of the year list until January 1st. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait for that. Yeah,